Weekend Update. The Weekend Update. Your weekly recap of news, current events, and trending stories. Let's do this. The Weekend Update with your host, Nate Armbruster.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 46 of Weekend Update. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for being here. And I hope you had a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed the bonus episode, which is also just the last episode of the podcast. It was way late. Again, I'm sorry about that, but here we are. Look at me. I'm on time this week. So I, for the first time in months, actually left town to tell some jokes. It's been a while. The last few times that I've done shows have been pretty local to Chicago, staying in the city. So this week, I actually went back to Detroit, Michigan, where I'm from, and there's a new comedy club there called the Detroit House of Comedy. It's in the heart of downtown, right? And it just opened this summer, which is a risky time to open a comedy club, right? Because it's weather. The weather's nice, especially if you're in the Midwest. It's the best time of year to go outside, right? It's one of the 3 months we get that's actually kind of nice. So it's a little risky. It's a little hard to get people to come in and check out the show. So they opened in the summer, and now we're, just getting into winter, and it's off to a good start. I was pleasantly surprised. The place, it's just like a new thing for Detroit comedians and comedy fans. Anyone who likes going to a comedy club, it's a cool new venue. So if you're ever in the area, I highly suggest it. There's always going to be a cool show going on down there. And I think it was something that was kind of needed ever since I started doing stand-up. Detroit has been such a special city to me. So it was like one of those places that it always could have worked. You just had to find the right people that wanted to do it. So it was pretty cool to see. However, the nice thing is you're in the city. You're truly in Detroit. Usually you're playing out in the suburbs or something because that's where most of the comedy clubs are. But you're downtown now, so you get you get every type of person that is gonna come downtown, right? You're gonna get the person that's there for the game, then the theater people, then the comedy show people, and just people who are out for dinner. You get a whole mix of everybody, but you also get the characters on the street, like the guy asking you for money, or there's the guy, playing the bucket drums, trying to earn donations, which is always a fun one. That's the one that bothers me the least, by the way. Okay, because it's hard to be it's usually a good beat. So when you walk by, it's kind of okay, all right, these guys actually, they have some talent, Which it's always impressive to me that those guys don't tour or try to tour or do something like that where they can actually tour, because you never see, that's the one talent I don't mind seeing out in public when people are trying to ask for money, they're working for tips. And that the drums are the coolest because, okay, that's a pretty sweet thing you're doing. That's pretty cool. I can't do that. So here's a couple bucks, right? And then there's break dancers on the train who are doing a dance for the whole crowd for free. So you're okay, I'll throw you a couple bucks. That was pretty cool. I can't do that. But on the other hand, you also get the people who are kind of obnoxious, okay, so have you guys ever been down in I guess anywhere, but I feel like it happens more so in cities, is there's the guy with the megaphone standing on the corner on a milk crate preaching about whatever their faith is, usually something to do with Jesus coming back or John 3:16. Well, I go home, I go to Detroit, and I'm at the venue, right? This is my first time going to check out the comedy club, and I got there early, right, just because I wanted to check it out and just see what it was all about before, things got busy. So as I'm hanging out, just waiting for people to start filing in to do the show, there's this guy that walks in, and he walks right up to the box office guy, the guy working at the comedy club, and he has the biggest megaphone I've ever seen. It was huge. It's probably the size of my torso, okay? I mean, the lengthwise, it's it was humongous. And he's just he walks in with it. He walks right over to the box office worker at the comedy club, and he starts talking to him, and I'm far enough away that I have a feeling what this is about, and I just don't want to get involved either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk to this guy about whatever he needs that megaphone for, because it can't be good. And it's not that it's not good, it's just it can't be not obnoxious, because when there's a megaphone and you're not expecting a megaphone, it's not going to be good. He's not announcing a race. He's just walking down the street with the biggest megaphone I've ever seen. So he's muttering something to him, right? And all of a sudden, like, I get like a glimpse of a few words, right? I can hear a little bit of it, and I hear the word Jesus. And as soon as I hear that word, I go, oh no, this guy, he's one of these I'll stand on the corner and tell everyone they're going to hell, because you know those people. Oh my God, it's always awkwardly hilarious, because I'm like, what? Has anyone ever changed their mind in those situations about whatever their faith is, right? They're on their way to a baseball game, and they're like, you know what? Now that this guy mentions it, this Jesus guy seemed like a good dude. I think I'll hear him out. So as soon as I hear the word Jesus, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go hide. I'm going to go like inside to the comedy club and just kind of hang out in there just until this guy leaves, so I don't have to talk to him about whatever it is he wants to chat about. And he goes outside, and it's like all good, like the manager went over there and was like, hey, what's going on? Anyway, no, you can't do that in here. You should probably head out, that kind of thing. But it was all nice. No arguing, no pushback. It was like, okay, all right, thanks, man. Have a good one. Which at first I was like, man, that's nice. Look at that. A couple people disagree, and it's also like you can't just do this inside of our business. You can't just come in here with a megaphone and start saying stuff. But he asked permission to say whatever he wanted, and I thought it was nice. They were like, no, you can't do it. And then he left, because it was just a nice, normal exchange between a couple human beings. And I was like, you know what? This kind of restores my faith in humanity a little bit. One person says, no, man, you can't do that here. And the other person, the person that was likely to do the most obnoxious thing ever, was like, you know what? That's cool. I'll find another place that won't let me do this. So anyway, as I realize this guy leaves, I walk back into the comedy club, right? I'm standing in the back of the room, just kind of observing, watching people come in, seeing what's going on. And all of a sudden, I see the megaphone guy out of the corner of my eye and stands right next to me. He stands right there with the megaphone, looking around. And I'm just like, oh God, is this guy going to talk to me? And I'm immediately like, do you buy a ticket? What's he doing in here, So he's just standing there next to me, looking around. Mind you, there's plenty of space. Like, to stand right next to me is kind of like a silly move. It's kind of like parking next to the one car in the parking lot, or sitting next to the one person at the movie theater at 11 a.m. just to be uncomfortable. That's the vibe I was getting, right? Well, all of a sudden, the door guy walks by him, and he goes, wow, man. And I quote, that's a cool megaphone you have there. Which, hey, man, maybe consider asking him to leave, or like, did you buy a ticket, sir? Do you need help finding a seat? But the guy just keeps walking after complimenting his megaphone. And then the guy just goes, thanks. And as he says thanks, he starts shouting into the megaphone, John 3:16 says whatever, like, right? Like, he goes into this whole thing. And then, of course, they kicked him out. They were able to get him out, and it was like, it's just an odd thing to do, in my opinion. Like, if you're into your faith and you do your thing, but like, to stand on the corner and like yell about it into a megaphone while we're at a comedy show. Like, everyone, and what's funny is everyone just kind of turned around like, what the hell's going on, man? But it ended up being just hilarious. And it was one of those moments where you're like, this has never happened. Like, what the hell's going on right now? And I just want to know where he went after that. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? That's what you do with your free time? You just get off work and you're like, I'm going to go downtown and shout into this megaphone. But nevertheless, it gave me hell of an opening joke for the shows this weekend. All right, so an update to my Powerball story yesterday, and that's not even a story, that was just me talking about it. No one won. as far as I have seen, nobody has won the Powerball yet. So we're up to more than 1.6 billion, I believe. Which, not to repeat anything I said yesterday, but that's so much money. So you're kind of a fool to not play. And does that sound like a gambling addict to you? Only people who have a gambling problem or who could have a gambling problem would say that. You're a fool not to play the 1.6 or more billion dollar lottery. This is what the lottery does to you, okay? I actually forgot to purchase my ticket because I had 2 shows Saturday night, and I was like, I'll get them on the way down to the show. Well, I forgot, and then by the time the drawing happened, I realized that I didn't get the tickets, and I was like, damn. But you know what that means? It just gives me a chance to win some more cash on this week's drawing. That's what's hilarious to me, is that all of a sudden I convince myself I'm lucky just because the Powerball is high. You know what I mean? Also, don't forget to set your clocks back. And if you didn't figure that out by now, I'm a little worried about you because I already forgot twice today. I was like, shit. In my car, it's so funny. It's like you don't. I personally, maybe I'm dumb, but every time this happens, I always forget until I see the clock. I don't make it a point to go to each clock and fix it. But you get that extra hour of sleep, as they like to say, which is nice. But don't be that person who's like, technically it's 11 p.m. right now. That's such a buzzkill. Okay, let me enjoy this extra hour while we got it. Also, the Houston Astros won the World Series this weekend. And I'm kind of bummed because I wanted Philly to win, but it is what it is. That's the nice thing about not having a team in the, like a team that you're emotionally attached to. I mean, Justin Verlander was a Detroit Tiger, and so I guess in a sense you're kind of happy for him, but it's still like, meh, whatever. So to all my Houston listeners, you know who you are. Congratulations. That's going to do it for this week, everybody. A nice short episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Go to the show information page or the link in my Instagram bio or weekendupdate.com for a link to sign up for my mailing list. I'm collecting emails, so this way when my album comes out, I'll send you a direct link to it, and you'll be the first to know. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week on Weekend Update.
You've been listening to the Weekend Update with Nate Armbruster, and you liked it, didn't you? If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Weekend Update.
Bye-bye.